Welcome back to the Inside UMSL podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and today I'm joined with Dr. Jill Bernard Bracy, Director of the Supply Chain Analytics Center of Excellence and Associate Teaching Professor. Hello, nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Good. We're just going to have a fun little conversation.
Sounds great.
Awesome. So when it comes to explaining what you do, say someone like me who is completely unfamiliar with it, how would you explain what you do?
So supply chain is an excellent field to be a part of. And the pandemic and COVID really brought a lot of visibility to our industry. Prior to that, we'd have to explain what is supply chain and what is supply chain management. But once everyone ran out of toilet paper, it became much easier to explain who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
So now our job is to really bring all of the components together from the academy, the government, and the industry to bridge practice and theory so that we can truly provide impactful research and the workforce that our industry needs.
That's super fascinating. What is something that people would find surprising about being in the supply chain world?
There are so many different opportunities.
Okay.
So supply chain is a huge umbrella for everything that gets product from point of origin to point of consumption. So from the very beginning all the way to consumers use it. It can be something like transportation, which is often most related to supply chain. People think distribution, buying product, but it can be anything else. And it's not just the flow of goods and products, it's also the flow of services and information and finances. So really all of these flows from the first part of the supply chain at the very top all the way through the consumer has to have people working at it. And there's different domains and there's different functions. So I think what surprises people the most when they really start to look at supply chain and look at what we do everything. Supply chain touches everything from our everyday lives to our professional world.
So then how does analytics of this work? Because it is so massive.
Absolutely.
My guess is multiple tabs on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly. So data visibility is critical to making the supply chain flow as effective and efficiently as possible. And that's where the analytics component comes in, because if we really want the supply chain to operate as one unit, we have to break down the barriers and the silos that traditionally have been there between different companies, different organizations. And the analytics piece allows us to do that, because the more visibility we have, the better we can match supply and demand. And that's really the point. As there's fluctuations that creates variability, which creates price inconsistencies, stockouts, waste. So if we can level it out and really match the supply with demand, prices come down, waste goes down, and customers are happier.
And how does the Analytics Center do that?
So we do three things with the center. The first and overall goal is to really create a meeting ground between industry, academia, and government, so that we can all be on one level playing field and that we can all talk to one another and really truly collaborate. And then our goals within that collaboration are threefold. One, for impactful applied research. Two, for workforce development, both within the classroom here with our traditional undergrad and graduate students, and outside in the professional world, so providing continuing education and professional development training, and then through outreach and service initiatives.
What are the opportunities for students when it comes to learning about the Supply Chain Center?
Oh, great question. So, student success is our number one priority in the College of Business and in the Center of Excellence. And one of the things we really pride ourselves on is the application of knowledge. So they get a great, rigorous theoretical education in the classroom, but then they also get these amazing opportunities to apply what they're learning in the real world settings. So we work with a variety of different on-campus organizations, whether it's the Workforce Development Center or other organizations within our College of Business. But we provide different experiential learning opportunities, and I want to highlight a few if you don't mind. Yeah. So one of the programs that I'm really proud of that we just created this last year is showcasing the supply chain in its entirety. Wow. So we created an internship with some of our advisory board members. We have a phenomenal advisory board that's very hands-on and very engaged with what we do. And the whole point was to keep St. Louis talent in St. Louis. Yeah. How do we do a better job of doing that? So we created this internship program where they're rotating between 3 global companies. So for this particular cohort that's running right now, the students started at Bunge, they moved to Worldwide Technologies, and now they're at Anheuser-Busch InBev. So they can see how product truly is flowing from the start of the supply chain through the information flows all the way to delivery to the end consumer. And it allows them to not only have an understanding of the different functional and domains of the supply chain, but also to see how different cultural environments work, to work with different leadership styles, to be a part of different teams. So they're getting both those hard skills and those soft skills and looking at it from this holistic perspective. So that's one that I'm very proud of. And then from that, we are just now launching a new program with Boeing where the students are working on procurement for 1 to 2 years in conjunction with their classroom knowledge. So they're learning about procurement and supplier diversity and the supply chain as a whole within the classroom. And then for 1 to 2 years, they're going to Boeing to apply it so that at graduation, they're workforce ready. They're not only seeing what's happening in the classroom, they're seeing what's happening at Boeing, and then they graduate and they truly are day one ready to walk into a company and start working in the procurement or supplier diversity area.
Yeah, they graduate with the storied 2 years of experience already.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So they don't spend those first 2 years in industry learning, right? They've already done it at the same time that they're taking that classroom knowledge and applying it to it. So
That's really cool.
Those are 2 of the projects we're working on. We also do a lot of applied research projects where the companies come to us with a problem and our faculty lead a team of students to help solve the problem. The great thing about it is almost all of them are regionally focused. Cool. So it's not just a theoretical supply chain problem. It's a real problem that impacts our region that the students are working on with the faculty lead, that then they can go back to the companies and say, we have these great, innovative, fresh ideas on how you can solve your problem.
Wow. That seems to really set them up for success.
It really does. So it just is, it's another way for them to understand what's happening in business. We also do the more traditional experiential learning where the students take tours of the companies, that they're studying about inventory management in the classroom, but a lot of them have never seen a factory or a distribution center or a warehouse. So we let them walk, through and see the day-to-day operations. But then also a lot of students haven't ever seen an office building with cubicles and people working, in a traditional setting. So we take them to those locations too, so they can just see how it would be day to day to work in some of these different environments. Because I think preparing them with an understanding of what it means to go into the workforce, from whether it's from a cultural standpoint or, just the soft skills standpoint, or being able to work with the team, all of those extra skills that you don't necessarily get inside of the classroom, the better we can prepare them, the more successful they're going to be.
Do you mind diving into the importance of it being a supply chain analytics center and why there's an emphasis on analytics over possibly the hands-on day-to-day?
Great question. Thank you for asking. So that is what sets our program apart. So you can look at supply chain programs across the country, and the addition of the analytics component is what makes us different. So the supply chain is constantly changing, constantly evolving. It's never the same. Technology has a lot to do with that. Data-driven decisions have a lot to do with that. So we're really preparing our students to use data to make decisions. So when they leave our program, they're citizen data scientists. They are ready to lead by fact, to lead with data in order to make changes. So not only being able to use that data to make strategic decisions, but then everything that comes prior to needing to make those strategic decisions. So analyzing the data and using those critical thinking skills and those problem solving skills to recognize what is being impacted based on something else. So the supply chain is so intertwined and interconnected that when there is a change in one area, any area of the supply chain, it has a domino effect or ripple effect. It's making changes throughout the entire supply chain. So using data to recognize how this decision is going to impact not only my internal operations, but the entire supply chain, my external partners and other stakeholders. That's the difference. And truly recognizing those trade-offs and recognizing them from a data-driven standpoint. And that's where that analytical piece comes in.
That's amazing. So is there a specific project where the center's work has had a outsized impact on the community or the region?
We do lots of projects that I'm incredibly proud of. Yeah. So our program in general really prides itself on being the most connected to the region's business and truly be impactful for our region and our local economy and what we do here, both from the research projects that we do and from the workforce development that we do. So some of the projects that we've worked on have been, I'm going to work on the experiential learning side of things. So some of the workforce development projects that we've worked on. We worked with the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education over the last few years to create visibility for our industry at the middle school and high school level. Okay. So not waiting until you're already in college and maybe college isn't the path for you and you have a different career path that you want to take. There are so many opportunities, but we need people. We need talent, and we need to show that these are truly amazing, stable careers with excellent advancement opportunities. So working with DESE and showing all of these different areas that the students can get involved in, whether it's delivering products by drone or processing freight payments, anything in between. There are so many opportunities, but really getting into the high schools, getting into the middle schools and showing these amazing opportunities. And this can be for you. And these can be excellent, stable careers here in St. Louis. I mean, we are in the middle of the United States. We are, the logistics epicenter of America. Yeah. And we need to help to contribute to that. I mean, UMSL is in St. Louis for St. Louis. We, are so embedded in our community that the transportation, distribution, supply chain of our community is essential, and we should be training the workforce to fulfill those needs.
It sounds like a lot of what your work is kind of overlaps in the realm of having strong leaders.
Absolutely.
So what does a strong leader in this realm look like? What are some qualities of that?
I think a strong leader in this realm really focuses on transparency and vision. Right. So we have a vision and there's so many people working on a lot of the same initiatives, but we need to get in the same room and talk about that vision and then being transparent about what it is that we are doing and how we're going to accomplish that. So we can all really work together and build up our strengths and recognize our weaknesses and then collaborate to make sure that overall as a whole, we are operating better than we can individually. And that is actually what supply chain is. It's showing that these individual echelons and these individual institutions, they can be great, but they can be so much better if they operate as a whole unit, the entire supply chain, everybody working together on the same page. And it's the same concept.
And how do you apply that to your leadership as the director of the Supply Chain Analytics Center?
So really my goal is to identify the people that we need to bring into the room. So who can help to work on this problem, and then what strengths can they bring to the table, and then how do we all work together to reach the same goal? Yeah. So really that is my role as the leader of the center, is to make sure that we have the right people working on the right problems at the right time in the right place.
What, and I only ask this because I'm curious, what leadership quality would that be closest attached to as far as finding the right person?
Oh, great question. I think a lot of it is humility and being humble, right? And really recognizing that it is a team effort and that everybody's voices can provide value. And we need to listen to others' voices. It should not be something that's done in isolation. It needs to be an open conversation with diverse perspectives, and we need to celebrate team wins. So if we can get people into the room of all levels, some that are seen as traditional leaders of organizations, but people at all levels within the organizations. And we listen to all of those diverse voices, and we recognize that teamwork is critical to making things happen.
Where does your idea of leadership come from? Who or what influenced that?
Oh, that's a great question. I had a few leaders, particularly in the academy at fairly formative years, that really were so quick to share the credit but accept the blame. And that has stood out with me throughout my entire career. Those people who are willing to take on, when something doesn't go right? Yeah, they're willing to accept that. Exactly. Yeah. But then are so welcoming to sharing the credit with others and showing how others contribute to the overall success. That's something that's always really stood out with me.
So what would you say is the quality that helps a leader make a big impact versus a leader that might not make a big impact?
I think the recognition that you can't do anything alone, that one leader doesn't have all the qualities, that you can have a lot of the great qualities, but you're never going to be everything to everyone. And working with others and identifying those who complement what you do and also can show you, right, the other side of things, right? Can point out your flaws and can help you work through those. I think that's what makes a great leader is really recognizing we can't do anything alone and we need a team. And we need others to support us, to make us be better leaders, as well as it's our job to support others, to help them grow and empower them to be great on their own.
Man, you are dropping a lot of wonderful gold nuggets here. So how are you continuing to grow in your leadership? Is it through books or podcasts or?
Great question. And thank you for asking. I have just been enrolled or a part of the Emerging Leaders program that we have here at UMSL.
Okay.
So we just had our first all-day workshop a couple of weeks ago, and it started off with the DISC assessment and better recognizing who you are as a person, right? And then how you interact with others. And it's been amazing. We're only a couple weeks in, and I'm already just so excited about the program and the opportunities to learn more about who I am and how and why I interact with other people the way I do. So that I can improve my interactions and my style. So that's part of it. And then I do enjoy reading books, different books on leadership, especially when it comes to communication. So trying to be a more effective communicator too. You have these great ideas in your head, but how do you share them with others?
Yeah. I mean, you're doing an excellent job right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what is it that you love so much about being at UMSL and in the St. Louis community at large?
I love that what we do matters.
Yeah.
I truly, truly believe that whether it's research or teaching or service, the three legs of being a professor, all the things we do make a difference. And that is so beautiful to me that, the research we're doing, it's applicable and industry can use it and apply it to make things better. And the students that we're teaching really see the value of their education, and they are able to take what they're learning in the classroom and apply it to, their industry problems, or apply it to life, or, as a way for not just career advancement, but professional and personal growth. Yeah. And I think that's really rewarding.
And so when it comes to applying things to life, there's a lot of complexity that comes with existing a lot of times. How do you navigate making those complex and difficult decisions as a leader, I would say?
I think, it's so important to remember we're all human and we're all, everyone is human. Everyone makes mistakes and everyone does great things, and we have good days and we have bad days, but really coming down to just being a good person and treating others with kindness and respect, and realizing that we're only here for a short time. Yeah. And I think, really remembering like what truly matters in life versus what just maybe matters at this moment.
That's a good one. I like that a lot. My last question is, if you had a free weekend in St. Louis, no obligations, a perfect world where it's an actual free weekend, no work, what would you do for the free weekend?
Well, I have two little boys. They're 4 and 6, and they love the zoo. And I love the zoo.
That's great.
So going to the zoo is always a big one for us. We love the zoo. We also love Grant's Farm.
Farm.
Yeah, going to Grant's Farm and feeding the baby goats. You can feed them with baby bottles. That's fun. And it's lovely. And then they have a beer garden at the end. The whole thing about Grant's Farm is phenomenal too. So I think one of those two places are my go-to. But also, I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. Okay. This year was a struggle, but there's always next year, and we're excited about it. And I took the boys just a few, toward the end of the season, a few weeks ago at the end of September, and we saw one of the final games, and they got a fly ball, and it was, awesome. It was just so beautiful to see life through the eyes of a child. Yeah. So I think, my free weekends would be something that's very family friendly that my boys would enjoy too.
I'm curious, what animal do you go to the zoo for?
Good question. I really like the giraffes.
Good choice.
Like the giraffes, yeah. The boys like the penguin house, which is good too. But yeah.
That's super fun. Well, thank you so much for sitting and talking with me.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah.